The New Orleans Pelicans just surprised the whole league and beat Phoenix. Except us if you're watching this channel. They dragged this series to 6 games at least. CJ McCollum made good on his promise that, this Pelicans team, he said after the Spurs victory, this Pelicans team is something special. We've been talking about this Pelicans team. They're good, right? They just tied a series 2-2 against a team that won 8 more regular season games than any other team in the NBA. That's the second largest win margin since the merger. To make it all the more better, watching this is insane. Zion, he's just practicing a slam dunk contest before the game in the warm-up line. Like, Zion's doing his thing, dunking before the game, and the Pelicans go out and win. They do well, win well. So what do we know about this Pelicans team? Well, for one, they have some impressive talent. So that even when they lose to the Suns, again, likely in 6, that they have showcased an ability to play like a team and win big games. And that's important. I don't love this comparison too much because I think the ceiling might be a little bit too high on this comparison, but the old Suns, the Suns of old, with Devin Booker and company, when they went into that bubble, right, and they went 8-0, no team had them to do it. No one had them to do that. No one expected that. But they did it. And that experience instilled confidence with them the following season. They obviously signed all-NBA point guard himself, and earned a final spot. But this Pelican squad, great young talent, already have this excellent young scorer in Ingram who can do whatever he wants on the floor. They'll be heading to the next season with Zion Williamson. Almost a fresh start to the Zion Williamson career/era. This won't solve everything. In fact, I don't even think Zion and Brandon Ingram are going to be that good of a fit, that good of a dynamic. I'm talking stylistically and personality-wise. Boston are a funny one. They made it work building around 2 similarly sized forwards, or wings, or however you want to define Tatum and Brown. But it took a lot of growing pain and a few bumps on the road before one of them finally put their hands up and said, hey, it's going to be my team. It took some necessary selfishness on Tatum's behalf to accept that he was going to be the guy looked upon after timeout. So he was going to be the first look on offense. Brown, super important to the Celtics, super important member of the squad, humbly took the back seat for the good of the team. Now, this is important. This is a distinction. That was an issue of selflessness. They both thought they could get it done and control the game equally, which just leads to unpredictability and confusion if you're trying to build a real system, right? And, there was that stretch, it was earlier this year, where Tatum went too far on the other side of the line. He was taking too many shots, and it was in the early stages, right? And they fought through it, and they found the right balance, but Zion and Ingram, I don't think either player are going to have a problem with being too selfless. They are going to have a problem when they decide, wait, someone's got to raise their hand. Whose team is this? Or where are people falling in the scoring module? Remember, they now have CJ, and I love CJ. But if CJ McCollum's not scoring for you, his on-court impact is a lot less noteworthy. See, when it comes to Ingram and Zion, just 2 remarkably talented athletes. And, Zion's going to have to ease his way back into the spotlight, but, just like last time, really, Zion and Ingram don't feel like a long-term partnership that I'm going to buy into. Zion, he will think it with all of his strength, with all of his fame, with the highlights, with the popularity, that he will be the go-to guy. And we know Brandon Ingram ain't stepping down. We know that. He's shown a lot of maturity. We've been watching him from a young age. Showed a lot of maturity as a basketball player, his basketball development, and as a person. But Ingram's always going to be Ingram, right? At 25 years old, he's not moving out of the way for Zion Williamson, the guy who hasn't played. And if Zion, I know we haven't watched him play in, over a year. But if he really does, if he does have that bounce, if he does have that skill, if he does, and this is big if he has the love of the game, to stick it out in New Orleans, and we see the same old generational talent of Zion Williamson, then the truth is, Ingram should scurry off to the corner. and space it out. So Zion can just steamroll through big guys. Maybe cut it out. And maybe we even see a return of the point Zion. I know it wasn't exactly a gigantic hit, a gigantic success in the Van Gundy system, but it might be one of the only ways of, letting Ingram get his shots while Zion, like he should be, if he is, still Zion running the show. And either way, they're going to have some things to work out. And you could delay that question more and more if the two players didn't play the same role, if they didn't operate the same space. Kobe and Shaq, for example, had a very, very, very similar question looming over their head for years. Whose team is it? Who owns LA? And they didn't even like each other. But it helped that they followed the small guy, big guy dynamic, right? That's proven successful in the NBA for decades, since Russell and Cousy, from Reed to Frazier, then to Kareem and Magic. Even the guys who didn't follow that big guy, small guy formula, their styles were still compatible with similar sized stars, right? So Bird and Mikal, they actually did follow that formula. They had similar size, shape, and height, give or take. But Bird played on the perimeter, and Mikal dominated the post, underrated post player. So, and that was the same thing. Jordan and Pippen, however, they won 6 championships together. And you know why? Because Jordan handled the offense, and he defended small. Pippen, he defended big. Also, about Pippen, it's a bit of an underrated fact, weird fact. Watch Pippen play. Pippen was one of these, he's one of the greatest cutters in NBA history. It's a weird thing. He's on the Mount Rushmore of cutters, along with Steph Curry, and that helps when you run the triangle offense. So their styles complemented each other. Any team Steph Curry is on, he drags so much space, so much, from the defenders, that his teammates can operate a little more freely, a little bit less condensed. For Ingram and Zion, they don't have something like that. They don't. They're not one of those exceptions. They're just two really, really good players who have big egos and will inevitably clash. They'll clash heads because of it. Alright? Look, but that's enough on the future problems of the Pelicans. Right now, they just beat the Suns in heroic fashion today. And, they really proved they have something real. And I'm not saying they should, trade Zion or Ingram unless who knows about Zion. He might want to give it a year if you can, but it's something to be mindful of. Okay, watch the most recent video I made on Brandon Ingram. I discussed a lot of this, how I discussed they're going to be special, and how Brandon Ingram is officially the greatest puppy out of the Lakers' old lottery pool, of the Julius Randles, of the Lonzo Balls, of the D'Angelo Russells. He's the best Lakers' old lottery pick, right? So like and subscribe for more.
2, 1.